Ciao, sono Sara Z da La La Land. Incontrerò grandi ospiti provenienti da ogni parte del mondo. Vi sorprenderanno condividendo la loro storia, ma tratteremo anche svariati argomenti. Le storie raccontate spezzano le barriere. Enjoy!
Hello, I'm Sara Z. I'm with Becky Gehrisch, author of the illustrated book Escape to Play, which is a children's book. Welcome to Hollywood, Becky.
Thank you. Good to be here. I'm excited.
Yeah, and I was saying it's a children's book, but what's interesting about is that you took care of everything. Like you did all the artwork, self-promotion. So you self-published this book, and I'd like to know your journey.
Great.
How was it?
Yeah, it's been fun. I definitely did the illustrating and writing on my own, and what I've done is to jump forward and then jump back. I've got a publishing company that I started in 2020 because my journey began with me. I'm a fine artist, and I went to the university here in Ohio and studied painting and drawing and loved it, but got to the point after I graduated that I was burnout from being, studying and doing what was supposed to be fine art, and really enjoyed just messing around and making fun art, fun and really comes down to being children's book art. So
Why
started
a children's book, Becky? Why specifically for children?
Because I'm a kid at heart. So I'm a goofy kind of person. I love whimsical things and imagery, and it really resonated with me. It was really expressing who I was as a person more than the fine art that I studied. So although I love and appreciate that, I found joy in children's art. So that is where I kind of just began after I graduated years and years ago now, and I started just painting my 3 dogs at the time. We moved out to the farmland, and the dogs, could run around our acreage, and I just had fun watching them.
You say you're gonna be my hero's dogs.
Yeah. So I it was really fun to make them. I put them in a bathtub. There's the painting behind me. You can see some of my artwork here in the studio, and it just started with me just putting them in a bathtub, them having fun, just something silly, and it took 15 years to get from that painting to having my book published, but a lot of stops and pauses along the way where I would add another painting, and it was the 3 dogs, but they were in a red, an old school 1930s truck, and began to think that, hey, this could be fun to do a picture book. And when I was 13, I was in a program in my middle school, and the art teacher would submit our work to a program that was called Written and Illustrated by, and you had the opportunity to have that piece published. And I didn't make it to that point. I didn't get chosen for that, but I was in the honorable mention. And so that really set something in my heart to really want that in life, that it would be really fun and to have something published, especially a picture book. So after
Becky, did you do any research about dogs? Have you watched any dog films?
I watched a lot of cartoons and Disney and things like that, but so the dogs themselves, they were their own, their inspiration. So I didn't, it was just kind of what was in my head and what I came up with. So it wasn't necessarily films or things that I watched, but it got the wheels spinning again, that what do I want in life? What do I want to do? So that's why I decided to kind of play with that. I'd come home from work. I worked an office job, and which I wasn't really a fan of. I was needing to be creative, and would come home and paint. I'd watch TV and shows, sitcoms.
And after, Becky, all of the drawings, what happened to the book?
So I went to a group. Once I thought I was finished, I had like a number of paintings done, and I had been writing what I thought would be the story. And thought it was done. And so I started submitting to publishers, traditional publishers, and I sent out over 40 semi-hard copies of what I imagined the book to be, and joined the Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators, which is an international organization, and started learning how the process worked, how to write the book, how to put the book together, how many pages you're really supposed to have, and realizing, oh, I might need more pages. So that's kind of how that that started to evolve into where it is now. So I learned a lot. I went to New York City for a conference. I joined locally to be like the illustrator coordinator. So I'd help other illustrators kind of, work on, programming, things like that, and really learned a lot. I would go to monthly meetings and
then did you sign with a publisher, Becky?
I did almost sign with a publisher, and what it came down to after I've learned a lot about the industry is that it wasn't exactly right for me, where I got a I guess a request to be an illustrator, to work for the publisher. And I looked over the contract, and I'm sure I could have worked on some things, but in the industry it came down to you kind of sell your rights to the publisher. So I took a long, hard look at what that meant for me, and since I was the illustrator and the author, I decided that I didn't want to do it. So
what were the steps that you took in order to really have this book out and sell it? Because the previous conversation we had, you and I, you sold like 1,000, and you have another 1,000 books to be sold. Yes. So I began success for an independent author.
Yes, exactly. So I there's a difference between self-publishing, I feel, and an independently or a small press. And so I began a small press, which is technically independent until I, publish other people's. So I started with, creating the company. You got to get the LLC. You need the ISBN, which is the specific number to each book, and you can buy a whole set of them. And all these things add up. They get costly. So for somebody, to want to do this, they can definitely do this on their own, do the same path I'm going through now. But you can also, what I'm hoping to do is have other people, publish through me. And what they would end up with is keeping all of their rights. So you wouldn't sell that to me. So what I've done with this first book is testing the water, seeing how it goes, and doing a pre-order campaign. So I used Kickstarter in February of last year. Not necessarily always going to use that platform, but basically a pre-order campaign and marketing, everything.
What was it? When I think about Kickstarter,
it was hard.
Hey, my book is great. No, I'm not saying that you said that, but
right.
It's like you have to be so self-confident talking about your book.
A lot of the confidence, I feel, and I dedicated the book to my husband because he's pushed me this whole time to, you've got this, you can do this, it's good enough. It doesn't have to be in a, the big house that you thought you wanted, you can do this. And so I didn't edit it all myself. I didn't design it myself. So with my Bookly Media Publishing, I, had a small staff of, I've got designer, typesetter, editors who had been in the industry for 20 some years or more. And they were the experts behind making it look like just any other book you'd see. I have a dust jacket and I wanted spot varnish. I've got my book. I got the spot varnish.
Hi, dogs. Hi.
Yeah, you can see the shine.
They have a name? Every dog has a name.
Yeah, and they've passed on since then. So yeah, Annie, Dixie, and Casey. And then there's a little mouse, Norman, that the little kids can find.
Hi, Norman.
But yeah, so I wanted to make sure it was just beautiful. I wanted to look like just any other book on the shelf.
Yeah, very professional, like
very professional. And my art style is very specific, not necessarily specific as in detailed and crisp. And I try to make it exact, so I wanted the book itself to have that quality. And so I have the designers, I had the people behind it to get it where it was for the Kickstarter. I spent a couple months, like 12-hour days, getting this Kickstarter ready, getting the page ready, getting everything ready.
And you spend time, Becky, but also the cost.
Yes. So,
or how much an independent author has to pay to self-publish.
Correct. Yeah, it's thousands of dollars, to get the printing done, and it's thousands of dollars for a designer, and it's money for the editors, and if you had to pay for an illustrator, you don't want to go low just to be low. You need to research the quality of illustration that you want. So there's a lot of steps involved, and thankfully I had the background for the illustration. But I did take a lot of writing courses, and I spent over 100 hours on 250 some words, I think, which is crazy. It's like it's short, but it took a long time for that.
But that was passion work. As they say, for someone, a director with the first film, your baby.
Yes.
Your artistic baby.
Yes, and that's partially, I spent all that time working on this to sell it to a publisher, and they're going to have what they want in it, what they want to take out, what the the vision is for it, and at the end of the day, I wanted to keep my vision. I wanted to be in control of all of the decisions, and the Kickstarter, pushing that button to go was very nerve-wracking, thinking nobody's going to buy that, nobody's, maybe a few people, but am I going to reach this goal? Because Kickstarter is an all or nothing thing. If you don't reach your goal by that set time period, then you're done. You have to start
so
over.
They don't give you the money, right? You don't get the money. But instead,
Correct.
Were you able to get all the funds?
Yes. At first, full disclosure, I put it at $9,500. I needed to cover cost of printing and everything like that. So I was nervous that I would reach that, because a lot of picture books I saw on Kickstarter and in the community, they were maybe 5,000 or 6,000 was what they were asking, and mine was hardcover, mine was longer, mine was larger, mine was just a lot of things were going into it. So some people were saying, oh, you shouldn't do it this way, and I found a quote.
Listen to your heart.
Yes, and I found a quote. A quote by Einstein, which was funny.
What did he say?
Which I was like, wow, Einstein, okay. But he said that I am thankful to all those who said no to me. It's because of them I did it myself. And I thought, yeah, exactly. Just do it yourself. I felt like the world seems so, sometimes you feel like, oh, you have to do it this way and that way, and this is how you're supposed to succeed. And I thought, why? This is just some man-made design of an industry that kind of worked for a while and works for so many people, but for me, it doesn't. So I'm going to do it.
You're right. And myself too, as an artist or writer, but sometimes I think, oh, I need more people behind me. I need a teamwork or a team of people. But at the end, I realized myself too that yes, you can have people coming along, but you have to do most of the job. And the beauty of it is that, as you said before, you're in control. You know exactly what you want, right, because you have a vision. And then, yes, you're going to have people, as you were saying, your team, yes, they helped you out with the promotion or the drawings. But yeah, most of the work, we have to do it.
Right. And that's at the end of the day, it's like, what can I do to move it along? What's next? And so I got the Kickstarter went really well. I met my goal. I met it enough there was like a bonus goal, hey, if we reach such and such amount, everybody gets a coloring book along with it. So I had to make and produce a coloring book, and I was really excited. We met that goal and we surpassed everything. We got to, I think, $12,500, something like that, over $12,000. So I was able to cover the costs and make it happen. And it took a while to print and ship and get here. And
how many did you sell so far, Becky?
I was looking at that earlier. I've kind of lost count because I've been doing some bizarre sales shows and things, but I feel like it's close. Around 800 is where I think I'm at. I ordered 1,000.
It's good for a first
time. I know. I was so excited, so happy that the Kickstarter, I think there were 400 I sold, but I also sold art prints. I sold, you have different tiers of things people can put into. So just, the support, contacting everybody I've ever met, just saying,
how
is
about
this, this is a
promotion?
service.
So you get in touch with people, and what are the other promotion keys you need to apply in order to sell it, or at least to sell it, but to let everyone knows about the existence of the book. The book exists now.
Right. I know. That's where we are right now. Yeah. So it came out in August, and I had to fulfill all the orders. And then I was doing all the book launching and bookstore events. And so I had made connections through the Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators. We say SCBWI. And so connections through that, you start, if you've got an idea that you want to do this, start making connections right now, go on Twitter, make connections in the writing community, hashtag writing community. There's hashtag kidlit art. There's, hashtag whatever genre of writing you're doing, middle grade is MG, so you make connections there. There's so many people out there willing to help you out. It's a really beautiful community for that. And there are different, conferences I've been to where you make connections. I met the editor through another writer, so it's that kind of thing. And I think marketing is it's the same kind of thing where I need to get in, I'm starting to get into that now, where I'm looking at larger distribution. I'm looking at getting into, some big box stores. Barnes and Noble is on the list. I'm working on getting it all set up on Amazon so I can sell wholesale to bookstores. And so I hope that will
to understand, in order to get in touch with Barnes and Noble, you have to have a big sale on Amazon first.
No, you basically you set it up on their website, and you need to present your marketing plan and things like that. And that's as an independent, because I'm not technically a publisher as of such. You have to have more than your book as under you. So I'm doing this all in this order in order to then get the next book out that's not me, and help somebody else get to where they want to be, where they can keep their rights fully in the end. So once that's there, then I'm more established, and I think it'll be a different path for that, distribution. But at least I'm hoping that I'm making these connections now. I'm hopefully getting into these stores now, so that the next person will be so much easier, because as an independent or as even a self-publisher, people are going to have a harder time, navigating this, getting in to places where
it's the jungle.
It's hard.
It's the jungle.
It is
like to understand everything. How it works, like Amazon, and print it yourself. Like there was a friend of mine, she printed her own book on Amazon, and it came out wrong. Like the pages were wrong. She had to redo it. So It's not just, okay, it's easy, you go on Amazon. Okay, here it is, all my pages.
Yeah.
If they don't come out the way you want.
If it doesn't, then you're stuck with that cost.
The next book you're taking care of are still children books or any genre?
Well, for now, I want to stick with, since it's my passion, and bookling media sounds like it's a bookling. It's a little book. It's a baby book. It's a child's book. And it's also, my baby, or, whoever's bookling it is. So I'm sticking right now with author illustrator, who, can cut out one more step of trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to get, what illustrator is going to work best with this author. So if they are both kind of like I was, they can help drive the path to where we need it to be for their pre-order campaign. And then once it's, it's the ideas formed, the writing has begun, I've got the writing help with them, the story help with them, and ideas for their project, then we can get it to the pre-order campaign, and then, get it into production once it's it meets however it is.
This is great, Becky. Like you did a ton of work, and I know it isn't done yet. And if you have to make a list in order to help people, in order to help first-time self-publishers, authors, what would you recommend? Like the first 3 or 4 steps?
3 or 4, I would definitely join. It's not expensive by any means. The SCBWI group. There's so much resources to find there. From writing to anything, you know, there's editors and agents and all that to start navigating that route. I mean, you can go at it other ways, but I feel like the most professional setting for finding the right people, having it look professional, would be that. Secondly is to research outside of that. So, I mean, even YouTube, you know, you can start looking at other illustrators and writers, you know, their paths, seeing what other people are doing to see if it fits you. You know, if, you know, traditional doesn't work for you, if you're finding that you don't want to go through an agent, because at the end of the day, a lot of it's kind of like the music industry. You have to, you know, if you want to get into the larger houses, you need an agent, so you need to submit, and it can take years. And I found that after doing that kind of thing, looking for art directors to, you know, or illustrator agencies, I found that it was too slow for me. I wanted to move on. I wanted to have this out. I wanted this to be mine. So that would be a second one. And then third is to just practice, you know, practice writing, practice, and get critique partners, get other people's opinions, not just your family, you know, get other writers, get involved with the community on Twitter.
Is that what you did for this book?
Yes. Oh, gosh.
So
yeah.
You had people reading your book
Yes.
and give you advice.
Oh, all the time. Yes, I had groups from the SCBWI and other groups that I had formed from Twitter that we would exchange things and you know, critique each other's work. And you know, you don't have to take everything, you know, that they say exactly. You know, definitely go with what you feel is right for your book. I had to, you know, really fight with that because I want to make sure I'm, you know, doing what these people think is right. But a lot of it, I had to realize, you know, this is my vision for the book. This is what it needs to be. And if I had listened to everything, it wouldn't be mine. It
would
wouldn't
have
be
been right and very confusing. However,
yes.
I think it's good to have a third part outside who can really be not unbiased, like, because we are like, since we are the author, I think this line is great, or like this chapter. Right. Maybe someone else said, you know, you don't need this chapter.
Right. Oh, exactly. I had
a story, but maybe that was the best part. So it's quite, you have to find a balance, and that, of course, ultimately it's your decision.
Yes, exactly. That's perfect, because I ended up, somebody suggested cutting out half of my, because it was poetry, cutting out half of the lines. And I was like, you know what, that actually works, because I wanted it shorter. I wanted it less confusing. It was more of going to, you know, a bedtime story, almost, of just relaxing and going to sleep. So yeah, it made perfect sense. At first I was like, no, I can't do that. You know, no, this is perfect. You know, so you definitely need to have a bunch of, you know, trusted and respected opinions that you can go with. And it really made a difference in, you know, where it is today, because if I hadn't done that and just done it back in when I first started, you know, 2014, submitting things, I don't think I would have been as happy as I am now, going through all of this. It doesn't have to be years, but enough research and time invested, and money, unfortunately, because, you know, you'll get back what you put in. I feel like if you're really making a quality product, you know, because at the end of the day, it's a business. And, you know, if you want to do it for a passion and just have it out there, that's one thing. But otherwise, it's a business, and for, you know, traditional publishing or not, if it's just you have to market it. You know, you have to show people what you have and why.
You're an entrepreneur. You're your own entrepreneur for your product, which is this book. And do you do anything else, Becky, besides?
Well, I do. Like I said, I do fine art. So I do portrait art, and I've done a lot of pieces for people privately. So, you know, portraits of children and pets, things like that. That's that.
That's it. Well, you're invested in art a lot. Like, do you do anything outside of art?
I actually
I know cutting apples. No.
No, I do some fun exercise classes that with a bunch of friends. So it's almost like a dance class with drumsticks. So I do fun things like that you know, just, you know, get my energy out. And my husband and I and the kids, we take our RV, our camper. So we've been traveling around with that. So we've been going to different states.
Oh, are you going for Christmas?
I really want to go, maybe right after, maybe in January. We'll see. I don't know if my husband wants to take it out because of the roads will be salty and it might hurt the camper. I don't know. But I really think it'd be fun to get out and go somewhere. And I don't know, it'd be fun. I really want to get out a little further away from home this time. So,
yeah,
and hike.
It's your mind, but it was very inspirational, Becky. Thank you, because so many people are trying. They want to have their own dreaming book, and they don't know how to start, or maybe they lose interest in their own project because it's too hard, too difficult. But you did it. Like, you can do it. Just really need to be invested and really at the end really wanted to do it. You really
and baby steps. It's every day, it's little something, because it's, I felt like, oh, I've taken one little step, one little, I felt like I would take back steps, but I was definitely going up and I was getting there, so I finally, when I got there, I was really happy and proud that it was just a matter of every day I'm doing one little thing for the next step in the journey. So you can do it.
Bravissima, brava, Becky.
Thank you.
I'm autrice Becky Gehrisch, and we can find you. What's your website?
My website is my name, so it's gehrisch-arts.com. So GEHRISCH is
great. And you're on Instagram as well, so they can.
I am on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of that. Yep, at Gehrisch Arts. Yeah.
I can't use Twitter. Somehow
it gets confusing.
I don't know how to use it. It's like you have to write many comments, and
it gets confusing. But it's fun.
I'm autrice Becky Gehrisch. Thank you so much. Thank you, Becky.
Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate it so much. Bye.
Ciao.